The LA to SA exhibit is basically like 8 artists from LA and 8 artists from San Antonio coming together. I just wanted to show the similarities between the two cities, specifically in the Latino arts community. So I really wanted to highlight that because I feel like there's a lot of similarities regardless of where we are in the country. When Latinos build a comunidad, it has, I guess, a lasting impact throughout the country, so that's what I wanted to highlight. I'm Jacqueline Valenzuela. I'm a multidisciplinary artist from Los Angeles, and I curated the show LA to SA. So I chose San Antonio because one of our good friends, Gali, he moved to this area, and it was really interesting to see how he made his way in the art community here.
We pretty much just stayed in touch here and there, and then one day, we were talking, she was talking about wanting to have a show in San Antonio. And, I was like, oh, that'd be a great idea. There's a lot, it's a lot going on here, a lot of great artists. And then eventually she hit me up and she's like, hey, do you have a list of artists that you can recommend? So I gave her a list of all these different artists that I know, or my girlfriend being one of them, and pretty much everybody else that's here. And then from there, things just kind of got rolling, and then here we are.
So we heard originally about this plan from Kayla Mata, who is a artist that is one of the artists featured in the LA to SA show, and she got us into contact with Jacqueline, who basically proposed the show to us and wanted to host it at our Motherling gallery.
I think it's been received super well. It's really interesting how, even though LA and SA are vastly different, just in the landscape, culturally we have so much in common that you can't really tell which specific artists are from LA or from SA without knowing.
And it ended up going really well. I was a little bit nervous initially just because I hadn't worked with any of the San Antonio artists really, but I admired a lot of their work. And when we started to unwrap all the pieces and looked at everything together, I was like, okay, we did something right here, we picked the right artist.
I love all the pieces from the San Antonio artists. I feel like once we got here, because we had seen everything from LA and we actually drove it over here. And once we got here, I think we were a little nervous, but once we actually saw a couple of the pieces and unwrapped everything and laid it all together, it was oh hell yeah, this is perfect. It's perfect. It was a perfect city to choose to come to and just kind of mix this whole idea with. It's, yeah, everybody's pieces complement each other and you really can't tell who's from where. Yeah, I love the way that the show came together.
Well, besides the fact that my friends are here, that's always great. It's nice to see just how both locations are very much different and very much similar. And that's always what, since moving here to San Antonio 5 years ago, I've felt pretty much at home because everything just kind of felt familiar to me. The culture, the people, some of the food, the music. So it's just kind of seeing everybody just gonna be one, just bridging.
It was kind of weird because it was so easy to work with people that I had never met before, but I think we both had similar visions or ideas for the show once we started talking about what I wanted out of the exhibition, and they kind of wanted basically the exact same thing. So I feel like we were super successful, even though we didn't know each other at all. So that was really awesome.
So I think a lot of the artwork definitely is showcasing their personal narrative and nostalgia through growing up in a Latinx community or household, especially within LA and San Antonio. Both of them have large Latinx demographics in both of those cities. And so a lot of people may say, oh, well, those places are super far apart. But really, I think a lot of people have the same or similar experiences growing up. And so I think that really resonates with a lot of people. And that is what a lot of artists, I think, is the main point in their artwork.
And while there are some pieces that are more narrative and some that are more abstract, I think that they all kind of use the same imagery or symbolism, and that was purely unintentional. They all just kind of happened to do it because that is relative to the cultural experience.
It was honestly like a super cool experience. I was super excited about it ever since the idea of it was presented to me. And I'm just happy I got to be a part of it because it was a great turnout. It was awesomely curated. It was awesomely put together. And yeah, I would say it was a great experience being part of the LA to SA show. I feel like it was received the exact way I thought it would be received. I think a lot of people were super impressed at how well put together and well planned out it was. And I mean, like Chryseis and Celia mentioned, what really caught my eye, and I'm sure a lot of other folks' eyes, is like the colorful images that, you know, it shows like little bits of pieces of like both of our like San Antonio and Los Angeles cultures, and it just blended in together very well. So I feel like a lot of people took notice to that and appreciated all the hard work that went into this show.
But a lot of my recent work consists of Los Angeles landscapes. So I have another piece besides these drawings in the other room that depicts like outside of a liquor store, and then you get the sky with a silhouette of a electric pine trees. These trees that are meant to look like trees, but they're actually cell towers. So a lot of Los Angeles landscape is what I've been working on. And Jackie reached out to me to see if I would be interested in showing in San Antonio. Of course, I said yes right away. I've known Jackie for a while. We went to school together, Cal State Long Beach, and I was just excited to show out here. So, you know, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm not from here, but it's from the reception that I hear, it's been pretty great, and I'm like really, really excited to be a part of it. The opening was amazing. You know, there was a lot of people that came through from beginning to end, and I feel like San Antonio and LA have a lot of similarities, and it's super cool to see that from a couple thousand miles away, you know, so.
It was, honestly, it's my favorite collaboration we've done, and while we have had large turnouts before, I think this was the first that was like open to close. There was a steady stream of people, 6 to 10, which really rarely ever happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this exhibition is the one to date that we're most proud of, and we were just super excited for the past like couple of months just to like host and showcase this event.
I think you can tell like the love that was in the room that night. Like it was definitely a warm, fuzzy feeling. So our future plans are to have an SA to LA show at Monzon Gallery, the gallery owned by Elizabeth Monzon in Long Beach, California, sometime next year.
I'm very excited to see what else Celia and Chryseis and Jacqueline have up their sleeves. I feel like if this is just the beginning, then the next one is gonna be like bigger and better.